Andrew here with your small group questions for this week, coming to you from Genesis chapter 47. We're in the last few weeks of the book of Genesis, and there's a lot that we've seen come to fruition. And today we are interacting with the family of Israel coming into Egypt. And so as you open up this text, right at the beginning we have the interaction with the family and Pharaoh. So what stands out in the brothers' conversation with Pharaoh? What are some of the words and phrases that they use that are intriguing to you? How does it reflect back on what we've seen in all of the text of Scripture? Part of this as well is, why does Pharaoh give them charge of his flocks? What are some of the things that can stand out in that interaction? And then from the brothers, we then transition to Jacob's interaction with Pharaoh. And of course, right there, as their conversation starts, we see Jacob blessing Pharaoh. Why is that an important action? And what does that begin to teach us about what is going on in the text? Because he's going to do it again at the end. We're going to see Jacob bless him twice. So why is that important? Why is that also unusual? What is strange about it? And within this conversation, Jacob makes a comment in response to Pharaoh's asking how old he is, and he makes the comment that his days have been short and evil. So in reading this phrase, how does that compare to Isaac, the description of Isaac and Abraham's lives? And what are some of the things throughout the text of Genesis that we see that can kind of validate why Jacob feels the way he does in comparison to Abraham and Isaac? And as you begin to unpack some of the things going on here, we then see the settling of the land. How is that a mirror to what is going on with the first audience? What is the original audience seeing as they mirror this beginning part in Egypt, as they look forward to where they are headed into the promised land? Why do we have this full description of the final years? What stands out in the final years of the famine? So as you read Joseph's final management of the famine, what are some things that stand out there? And then as our section in our text comes to a conclusion, we have the end of Jacob's life beginning. So this is going to set up the rest of the book, and that is the fact that Jacob is now old. Time has passed. He's now 147. That reason for death is coming. And he says a few things about asking Joseph to promise to take him to bury him in the promised land. So what stands out in his burial request, and ultimately as you look back through the whole text and all these different interactions and conversations in 47, what are some of the covenant promises of God that we see at work? How is God being displayed in this text as he works with his people? What are some of the mercies of God in this text? What is his grace towards his people? And how do we also see the setup for what is to come as we come forward hundreds of years into Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, as we see the original audience prepare for the promised land? So you dive into this text. I hope that you'll spend some time in it. Really appreciate what God is doing. Hope that he'll encourage you in his word to steadfastly trust in him through all of life's ups and downs. And again, ultimately, I hope that comes to bring you into the fellowship of the saints this Sunday as we study the word together and then in our small groups. Can't wait to worship with you guys later.